how's it going, guys? This is officially my first Carx Drift video, and I just closed it on accident, so that's good. Hey guys, Jeff here. This is the first time I make a video on this game. If you guys didn't know, this is Carx Drift. It's a really fun, arcadey yet realistic drifting game. So, I've been struggling a lot with this game lately. Because I just started playing with the wheel. I have a Logitech G920, so it's basically the G29 but Xbox's version. So I've been playing this game for about a month now on controller and mouse and keyboard. So I just made the switch over to the wheel because I do plan on building like a nice sim rig, and I found myself really struggling playing this game with the steering assist off. I probably have, I think, about 10 hours or so of practice in. Another disclaimer, I am not a pro at this. I am still learning. I want to help some people learn quicker because I learned a few things over the past couple days that made the learning process much faster. I learned some tips that I wish I learned my first hour learning how to play this. So real quick, I'm going to run down the settings. I probably spent so much time tweaking the tune, the settings, you name it, everything. So what you're going to learn here is the most important thing to learn how to drift with the steering wheel with no assist. Alright, so we're going to jump into controls. So we're going to jump into the wheel. So you're going to obviously just set everything up, calibrate it. Everything's pretty good right out of the box. So we're going to hit escape here, and we're going to go to advanced settings. Alright, so for here, we're going to go to, so gearbox type, you're going to go into manual, clutch, manual, steering wheel assist off. And then the next big thing is 900 degrees for steering wheel angle. So this is what you want to keep it at. This is like, you know, like the full 900 degree rotation, just like a real car. And so this is going to be a little challenging at first. So feel free to practice with 540 degrees. It's not ideal, so don't get too used to it. 720, yeah, you know, it's gonna get a little harder, you know, like baby steps, but again, don't get used to 720. Your goal is to drift 900 degrees. And another thing, I like the wheel force feedback. I like to set it all the way up to 1, and I'll explain why later. Basically, like the counter steering, the steering wheel just becomes really like stiff and aggressive, and which I like that. It makes it feel more realistic and it's easier to grab. I don't know, I like that set at 1. I think default is 0.5, but yeah, 1. Other than that, all this stuff is good right out of the box. As you see here, I do have a hydro e-brake. I am playing on PC. I did get this e-brake for about $100 on Amazon. I think it was like $110. So I will link this e-brake in my description below. And so let's see what else here. So the next big thing is your car. The biggest suggestion here is to learn on something that's not underpowered and something that's not overpowered. So like the happy medium here would be like around 600, 700 horsepower. I worked my way up to 800. I haven't really experienced with more right now. I found the sweet spot here with my favorite drift car. I spent probably a good like 2 to 3 hours tuning it. I'm going to show you everything in this video basically. So we're going to hop into dyno stand. Let me just check how much horsepower. So this R34 is 840 horsepower. Like I said, I recommend anywhere from like 600 to 800 if you're, you know, if you're practicing. So this is the most important part right here. First of all, huge shout out to Goosiest on YouTube. He makes these car drifting videos on Carx as well. I learned a lot from him, a lot from his settings. But I basically took his settings and, you know, just changed it a little more for me to make it. This is what I found to be the easiest for me, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So let's just go, I'll give you the rundown. So front and rear spring, we're going to match it at 6. Doesn't really matter, just keep it the same. The front springs, you're going to make it stiffer than the rear. So I made the rear significantly soft. The front, almost maxed it out on the stiffness, because you want the rear end to be able to kick out easier. Same with the stiffness. For the shocks, you can see here, I just did the front a little stiffer than the rear, but both kind of the same. So the biggest thing here I didn't learn until yesterday. Shout out to Will for telling me this. Basically, if you add rear toe, like basically max that thing out. I tried maxing it, but it took out a lot of the angle, so I left it at 0.85, and I really like that. It's a lot harder to spin out, and trust me, this will shave like a good 2 hours from your practice time. So the front, you're gonna want a good contact patch. The most front camber you can add. I just have like -7 now, but like I've used like -15, and that was fine too. It just looks kind of ridiculous. But so the most negative front camber, Rear camber, keep it around like -3 to -5. So right here, so front anti-roll bar, max that thing out for the front. And then you're gonna keep the rear to like 11. So that's also very important. Ackerman angle, 0. Caster 5. So steering angle, I put this at 55 instead of like 60. I feel like I had too much angle in the beginning and I was just spinning out all the time, and I just found 55 to be like really like the happy medium for me. But feel free to bump this up to 58, 60. I think stock is like 58, but again, 55 works for me. Coming over to the wheels tab, I just kept you know, the diameter of the wheels the same. I didn't run anything like double staggered or anything. The front width the same for the front and rear, so I just do 235. So the front pressure, you want it to be, so this is where you're gonna have to experiment, because you don't want the pressure to be up too high, because you're not gonna have grip in the front and like you're just gonna like oversteer into the barrier a lot. But you also don't want too much grip, so you're gonna have to play around and find the happy medium. This number will change with the horsepower of your car. I just found that 205 to be like perfect, almost perfect. I'm still tweaking this myself. So 205 works great for this car. So the rear pressure, depending on horsepower, excuse me. So depending on horsepower, this number is going to change as well. You generally want less tire pressure in the back for more grip. And so that's all set. Front tire adhesion also goes back to grip. I bumped up the fronts to 120 and the rears to 110. This works for me. Wheel track doesn't really matter. The base, nah, that's fine. And this is fine too. So and then engine, feel free to tune up your car all the way. The torque, the rev limiter, turbocharger, yes. And you know, just turbo pressure. If you followed all of this, your car should be pretty good to start drifting. Alright, so we're gonna start drifting. Let's go into settings. Let's just double check that steering wheel assist is off. Okay, and 900 degrees, perfect. So we're good to go. Alright, so now I'm gonna go over 4 ways to initiate a drift. So the first one is clutch kicking. I like to hit this turn going probably like 60, 65 in 3rd gear. And basically what a clutch kick is, let me show you. Coming up to it, you're gonna basically depress the clutch and floor the gas and let off the clutch, and the rear end of the car will kick out. And I'll show you guys that right now. I'm gonna press the clutch in all the way, gas, let go, and the car starts, you know, losing control. So that's the first way to initiate a drift. The second way to initiate a drift is, you know, just give it gas on higher horsepower cars. Like if you just give it gas, it's gonna break loose. So I'm gonna do that now. Boom, there it is. All right, so that's the second way to do it. The third way to do it is like a weight transfer, like a Scandinavian flick. So basically you're gonna go left, you're gonna go right, and then initiate the drift. Or in our case, right, left, gas. Or if you want to do right, left, clutch kick, you can do that too. If you do that, you're more likely going to spin out because that's just too much juice. But I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do right, left, gas, and it's going to break loose the rear end. Left, right, gas. And then feather that gas. So that's the second way to do it, or a third way to do it. The fourth way to do it is if you're on PC, you can go out and get one of these e-brakes. They're really nice. You can spend, I think, like 60 bucks on eBay. I bought this one on Amazon, 2-day shipping for like $111. Once again, I will link that in the description below. But yeah, so the third way is to basically full speed ahead, 60 miles per hour, 3rd gear, yank the e-brake, it's gonna naturally kick the rear end out, and then you go from there with the throttle. So I'll show you that now. Clutch in, e-brake, kicks out, gas. Not bad. As you can see, I'm not a pro at this. So, another huge tip, probably the second biggest tip I could give you, do not mash that throttle all the way because you're gonna spin out. Try to like not mash it down all the way. It's gonna be so helpful. Like watch this. See how I'm like feathering it or like kind of like tapping it? You don't want to just mash it. Like this game is all throttle with regular drifting. It's all throttle to control your car. Once you get that slide going, it's all throttle. Another tip I will give you that helped me is mid-drift, change gears, like shift up. If you're like starting to like lose traction and not really move, shift up into a higher gear, and your car will start moving forward more. I don't know if I explained that correctly. I'm really bad at explaining stuff, but here, you'll see. In this drift, I shifted to 4th instead of staying in 3rd the whole time. But yeah, so I found that shifting up helps me control the car more. Because I don't want to lay on that rev limiter, you know? Like, I don't want to like keep it in red line, because that just gets too aggressive and you're more likely to spin out. So if I can shift up and keep it in low RPMs, it's easier to control the vehicle. So I hope that helped you guys. I know it helped me a lot. Once I did these settings, I'm really bad at multitasking, but that was a nice drift. So I know that when I was starting, I was just all over the place. I basically spun out every single time. So when I did this, it really helped me. So not bad. Eventually, if you get really good with time, you can start linking a whole track. And I am not good enough for that yet. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Those are all my tips to help me, you know, get better at drifting. Again, I'm not a pro, but hopefully if you guys follow these tips, you guys will hopefully get better quicker. I don't know, it's all in the car's tuning and in the settings is what I found. If I'm on, I'll answer some questions, or message me or DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is basically just my name.